Welcome to Paul's Passive House. Wrapping up the interior trim, I decided to trim out the windows. I used the same OSB. I used a 1/2 inch instead of 3/4. And I also installed this metal flashing. Now, originally, the metal flashing was for a window that I was going to install on top of the flashing. It's essentially a plastic window with magnetic strips on it that will seal that window and make it airtight. Now, this was just a prototype. I've told you before in other episodes, I enjoy doing these sort of prototypical tests to see if they work. Now, this window prototype didn't actually work very well. It did stick, it did do its job, it did keep out the cold pretty well, but ultimately it didn't make an airtight seal, and so it was faulty. Here you see with the window on, and you can see the strip, the magnetic strip, sticking to the galvanized steel flashing. And ultimately, though, it didn't make it airtight. I couldn't get those strips to lay down flat. But the important thing to see is that the trim itself, the trimming out of the window, is complete. So all that wood that you're looking at right now is still there. I've uninstalled the crappy prototypical window and the flashing, but the window's still framed out, and it's waiting just for drywall. But I wanted all that wood there as a backer, and here you can see a picture of the final product. It covers up all of the polyiso, it covers up all of the other insulation, and it provides me with a place to caulk or further air seal, and with a backer for drywall or whatever else I'm going to use to frame out this window for a finished product. So here we are in my editing bay and studio, and I just wanted to take this time to personally thank you for watching Season 1 of Paul's Passive House. In Season 1, we covered how to do a passive house retrofit from the inside. Now, this is not the preferred way to do a retrofit. Retrofitting is best done from the outside, and in Season 2 of Paul's Passive House, you'll see me tackle a retrofit from the outside. I'm going to be collecting a lot more video for Season 2 because I felt that this season was lacking in detail. So look forward to that. I don't know exactly when that will be coming out, but it will be coming out shortly. As some final thoughts for Season 1 of Paul's Passive House, I wanted to talk with you briefly about why I'm doing all of this work. Believe it or not, that's actually the number one question that I hear from people. They say, well, why would you go to all this trouble? It seems like an odd question when I hear it, and it always strikes me as, I don't know, dumb? That sounds bad, but when people say, why would you want your house to be the most efficient house possible? I always think, what? I think mostly the reason why that question troubles me so much is because it seems quite obvious to me why you would want to live in a passive house. Philosophically speaking, as a citizen of planet Earth, I feel that I have an obligation to emit as little carbon as possible, especially in light of the science that demonstrates that carbon emissions and emissions of other gases are causing problems that we're going to have to face and reconcile in our near future. Because I've taken a lot of time to understand the science of climate change, I recognize that there's a lot that I can do at minimal expense to maximize the efficiency of my house and therefore minimize the impact my activities, my day-to-day activities have on the rest of the world. It's become very obvious to me that in order to solve climate change, we're going to have to take action as communities, as societies, as cities, counties, states, countries, and ultimately as the world. As citizens of the world, we're going to have to collectively decide to solve these problems and to flourish. Now, one question I often hear is, are you going to get your house certified? And the answer is yes. I think if you're going to go through all this trouble, you owe it to yourself and to the Passive House building science community to certify your house. That way you provide good data for them to utilize in their building science techniques. You see, passive house isn't just a fun thing you can do on the weekends, and it's not just an energy efficiency standard. It's actually a science. It's something I'm studying currently and unfortunately can't speak incredibly intelligently on right at this moment, but will myself be certified as a passive house designer and installer. And the path that I chose to get that certification was to actually do the work, to design a passive house and install a passive house. And then in order for me to get my professional credentials, I will have to certify this house. So the benefit is really twofold. If you want a ticket to ride, a ticket to travel to any city in the United States or Canada or Mexico or Europe, having passive house certification as a designer and installer is incredibly valuable. Everybody, everywhere is looking for these skills. Now, as a follow-up to this video, I'm probably going to publish something that has to do with Europe. I just got back from Europe. I was there for 32 days, and a lot of what I did there was collect video footage for my urbanism content that I plan on publishing here in the near future. But I also took a lot of notes of passive house. Brussels, in Belgium, actually has the passive house as their building code standard. And I walked around a lot of Brussels looking for passive houses and looking for retrofits and taking notes of their building stock. Now, I did the same in London, in Paris, and in Amsterdam. And I have a lot to talk about as it pertains to building science. I was very impressed by how far ahead of us Europe is. And I was very excited about how far they have yet to go. So I guess that wraps up what I wanted to talk about. Again, I want to thank you for following along. I really appreciate my new subscribers. I really appreciate all the comments and all the engagement and interaction. And again, I want to stress that if you would like help designing a passive house retrofit or installing the upgrades or both, please contact me via the email at the end of this video. If you'd like a free energy efficiency consultation, please email me at paulspassivehouse@gmail.com.